On Sunday, 18 February 2018, Cape Town Stadium was buzzing with excitement and filling up very early with young people and ministers. People came from all over Cape Town and areas across Southern Africa, trekking towards the stadium for a divine fellowship with Chief Apostle Jean-Luc Schneider.
Can you tell me what your experience has been of this weekend so far?
What can I say? It's been wow, and just wow. I don't think I've ever seen so many new apostolic Christians at one specific place. But it was very good. I was meeting new people, seeing old familiar faces as well. And then also it was very good to see the Chief Apostle. And I must say, new apostolic does have talent, eh?
I had a great experience because we traveled all the way from Namibia to down here, and it was a very long drive. But it was very nice because we were all together and we could celebrate it on the way. When we got here, it was kind of misty weather, so it wasn't that nice. But it was still nice to see Cape Town because most of us are here for the first time. And then awaiting this event was probably the best part of the weekend.
Well, my experience has been absolutely phenomenal with the whole young people coming from Cape Town to Durban, right through over the borders. It's been phenomenal. I must say, I've been on the stage yesterday and just the atmosphere was just so amazing. The once-and of everyone was absolutely great, that we live in one faith, and that was just fantastic for me.
What do you expect of today?
First of all, I expect just for blessings sitting under the word of the Chief Apostle, and also just to have some fellowship as well on a spiritual level, but also on a natural level as well. There's still time to meet new people as well.
Well, I hope to experience the blessings of our Chief Apostle because it's just amazing to have him with us today.
To sit under the word of our dear Chief Apostle, the enthusiasm that he had yesterday when he just spoke a few words, was so amazing. So I'm excited for that, and I can't wait for the word and, blessings to receive, as well as to be my sins forgiven by Holy Communion.
The divine service was without a doubt the highlight of the weekend. When all the young people were seated, the stadium looked amazing, everyone dressed in their YPC 18-18 t-shirts. There was a buzz amongst those in attendance, waiting in anticipation for the service to commence. As the time drew closer to 10 a.m., a quietness fell over the stadium, which was filled with approximately 40,000 attendees. When the Chief Apostle arrived, the crowds couldn't contain their excitement.
So he said, "Come." And when Peter had come down of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. When the disciples were on a boat on the lake, and they crossed the lake, and there was a storm. It was a strong wind, and the boat was tossed by the waves. And suddenly they saw somebody walking on the water. Oh, they were afraid. What's going to happen here? And Jesus told them, "Don't be afraid, it's me." And then Peter said, "Okay, Lord, if it's you, then ask me to come to you." And then it comes. And Jesus said, "Come." Peter obeyed. He went out of the boat and he walked on the water to come to Jesus. Dear brothers and sisters, that's a nice image for our salvation. Jesus calls us, "Come." Since the fall into sin, God calls men, all men, "Come back to me. Please come. I want to lead you into the eternal fellowship with me." And that's the call of God to all men. "Come, please, come to me." That's not a general call. It's an individual one. God calls every man personally, "Please, come to me." Today, Jesus calls us, "Come, I want to have fellowship with you right now. Come, or to quote the theme of this encounter, come, I want to live and move with you. Come, live and move with Jesus. And the third call, come, I need you. Come to serve me. Dear brothers and sisters, that's the call Jesus wants to address each of us. Come, come, I want you to enter my kingdom. Come, I want to live and move with you. Come, I need you to serve me. Peter heard this call and he did it. To come to Jesus, he had to do something very special, something unique. He had to walk on the water as Jesus did. And that's something very interesting. From a human point of view, it seems crazy. That's just not possible. How can a man walk on water? Jesus asked Peter, come, and to come to Jesus, he had to do what Jesus did. He had to follow his example. He had to conform to his model. And my dear brothers and sisters, that's something very important. If we want to answer Jesus' call and come to him, there's only one way, one way. We have to follow his example and to do and act as he does and he did. It's not enough to be faithful and to come to church. It's not enough to do some good deeds. It's not enough to pray and to bring our offerings. If you want to come to Jesus, you have to follow faithfully his example. I know from a human point of view, that's just not possible. But Peter knew, if Jesus asked me to do it, I can do it. What does it mean to do as Jesus did and to follow his example? Jesus was focused during all his life on earth on his mission. He had one goal. He wanted to go back to his Father. He was willing to fulfill his mission. And that was the most important thing for him. Nothing else was relevant. He wanted to fulfill his mission and to go back to his Father. That was his absolute priority. If we want to come to Jesus, we must define our priority. Our priority in life is to come to Jesus, to enter his kingdom. That's the most important thing. That's the way we want to go and to fulfill. Following the example of Jesus means we obey God whatever happens. In every and each situation, we respect God's commandments. There is no compromise, no discussion. That's God's will, I do it. Finish. Okay, as I said, it was dangerous. And I admire Peter. He ran the risk. He went out of the boat and he walked on the water. And that was really dangerous. But Peter took the risk. Despite the danger, he did it. My dear brothers and sisters, it's also a risk to follow Jesus. That implies a lot of things. And many do hesitate to follow Jesus, to conform to his model, to be obedient to his law and to love and to forgive, because that's too risky. For sure, it's risky. The one who is obedient and who follows Jesus, sometimes he gets a little bit less fun in life. He's deprived of many things. That's a risk we have to take. But my dear brothers and sisters, again, and that's my wish for all of us, let us run the risk to follow Jesus. You will never regret it, because Jesus is faithful. He will help you. Jesus is faithful. He will bless you. Jesus is faithful. He will lead you to his kingdom, and you will share his glory. You will reign with him. It's worth remaining faithful to Jesus. Please take that risk. You won't regret it. And actually, Peter went out of the boat, he took the risk, and it worked. He did something incredible. He could do it. He could walk on the water as Jesus did. Why? Because he had the right motivation. He didn't care what the others thought about him. He didn't care about doing something exceptional. He just had one desire. I want to come to Jesus. And that's why I do what he asks me to do. Brothers and sisters, if we are obedient to the Lord's commandment, if we are faithful to Christ, it's not because we want to show that we are better than other people. We do not want to be better Christians than other Christians. We do not want to impress somebody. Look at us, what we are able to do. We are so good, so holy, so wonderful. Look at us. That's definitely not our motivation, because all of us, we know we are not able to do that. We are just too weak for that. We cannot. It's impossible. Our only motivation to be obedient to the law to the Lord is our love for him. Because we love Jesus Christ. We do what he wants us to do. Because we love God and we want to have fellowship with him. We are obedient and we conform our life to the gospel. That's the motivation. And as long as that's our motivation, Jesus helps us to do what seems to be impossible. You know the end of the story? Peter went out, he walked on the lake, on the water, and suddenly, for some reason, I don't know why, he looked at the water, he saw the waves, and he was afraid. And as soon as he was afraid, he began to sing, and he was drowning. He was dying. And in the last moment, he shouted for help, and he called Jesus, "Jesus, help me!" Jesus came, gave him his hand, and put him out of the water, and told him, "Oh, you are a man of little faith. Why did you doubt?" That's interesting, the way Jesus has seen the story. For Jesus, it was obvious that the wind and the waves were not the big obstacle to come to him. The only risk, the only problem was doubt, the lack of faith. The difficult thing, the dangerous thing, was not the sea and the wind, it was the doubt, the lack of faith. Dear brothers and sisters, sure, we have to go through tribulations, We have to do some sacrifices. Sometimes we miss a number of things because of our faith, because of our faithfulness to Jesus Christ. But all the tribulations we have to go through are not that dangerous for us. They won't prevent us to enter the kingdom of God. The danger does not come from outside, the danger comes from inside. If our faith becomes weak, then it becomes dangerous. Let us remain strong in our faith. For sure, from time to time it happens, but be sure it happens to me too, that suddenly we fall down. And once again we sin. And we do not do and fulfill what Jesus asked us to do. And then we realize how weak we are. And sometimes we lose courage and we say, I will never make it. Brothers, sisters, maybe one brother, one sister is just in a phase of his life who he believes, anyway, I won't be able to make it. I'm not good enough. I'm not faithful enough. That's a lie. You can. Just call Jesus and tell him, Jesus, I want to remain faithful. I am longing for having fellowship with you. Please help me. And Jesus will do it. He will strengthen your faith. But you have to keep this desire in your heart. I want to go back to my Father, as Jesus said. I want to enter his kingdom. And all those who are really willing to enter this kingdom and to follow Christ will receive the strength and the grace they need to do it. Trust Jesus. Listen to his call. He himself calls you. Come. Answer this call and do and act as Jesus. Live and move with him. And even if it seems impossible to do, you can do it. If your motivation is the love for Jesus Christ, Jesus will provide you the strength you need. And you will enter his kingdom, and you will experience the fellowship with him right now.
Once the divine service concluded, the chief apostle and his entourage took a lap of honor around the stadium. The excitement around the stadium was amazing, to say the least. No words can express the emotion of having been there, a part of history, an event never to be forgotten. The Young People's Convention 2018 will forever live in our hearts.